Yeah, it's a complex thing to explain. It'd just be that much harder to try to explain it through text, but I'm sure I can explain it very, very well over video. So I'm going to go over everything with you about why we did this. Now, we'll even start at the top. Now, what General Motors is going to do, they were just going to replace the gasket that goes on what covers this whole bottom area, this big bottom area. It's why it's called timing cover, because it covers the majority of your timing. As you see, there's two chains to yours. The second virtually never fails, and even if it does, it doesn't kill the engine. So I'm not worried about it. That would be more parts, more time, more money. And again, the other job I did it on didn't even replace it, and it never hurt them breaking. It's for balance shafts. It's for something that's of just a comfort thing, less noise, things like that, make the engine run smoother. And I mean, they are not just minor, they are dramatic. Like if your balance shafts go out, your engine will run rough as shit, you'd hate it. But then one critical thing it does run as a water pump. But still, you get warnings. Like if that all breaks, your engine's not devastated. You know real fast, and you could, if you, as long as you park it, somebody can fix it, no problem. The outer timing system is literally what makes the engine function. That's one of the things that's so neat about it to me. In a way, it's like a clock. The crank at the bottom runs the pistons. The cams at the top run the valves, opening and closing for exhaust and intake. And this is one of those interference engines. That's what makes it so fragile. What makes the timing so critical is that the valves and the pistons are so close. If a valve was at the top and a piston was at the top of its stroke, and a valve was pushed down, activated, they would hit each other and it would destroy the valve. The valve is the weaker of the two, and that ruins your engine. At best, you'd have to have full-on head work, and that's so expensive that most places won't even do it on modern engines like yours anymore. It would actually cost less to sell you an entire engine, like a couple thousand there, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 just for the engine, and probably another 1,000 to drop it in. Is still less than what it would cost to repair that kind of damage. That's what can happen with this kind of engine. Now, again, your timing was not broke, but I have seen many of these break with no warning whatsoever. First example, a Malibu. One thing these are very common for. There's one of the guides over there. The guide in that picture that's black. It's very common for it to break. And the Malibu, it broke, and it made the timing start jumping a little bit. Just enough the car was running like crap, but it wasn't so far off that valves hit pistons yet. So it wasn't destroyed. I was able to rebuild it, but even that cost them probably $1,000 total for how much I had to do there. I didn't just have to do the timing. I had to do their water pump, and I had to deal with broken parts. I had to get parts to accommodate for a broken bolt, all those kind of things. Now, as far as what was wrong in yours, none of the timing stuff is broke. But again, just like that one I fixed that got lucky, Steven had one, a Cavalier that had this engine. His did have a little bit of noise that would warn you his timing, but wasn't dramatic. And only on startup, as soon as the oil got through it, would go away. And then just one day, timing snap, engine gone. He had to trash the car. But then another customer of mine, a guy that had a Chevy HHR, those little Chevy PT Cruiser lookalikes, they also get this engine. He broke something else. He broke a hub, but you remember me doing hub assemblies on yours, but he broke it much worse than yours. Like he tore it in two. And so I had to do something really scary to fix that. And he had to spend a fortune on that because it was such a crazy job, so much to let it tear up. But his engine had no warnings whatsoever. His engine ran perfect. I wasn't even concerned driving it back to him. But a couple months later, his timing just, again, like that, and his whole engine's grenaded. There's nothing I can do for him. His car's junk. He had to go buy something new. Now, in yours, you have to go with the valve cover to do this job. But like just timing cover alone, you don't have to take the valve cover off to do that. But I did find that your valve cover gasket was leaking. So in our case, we should have done this anyway, which again is also part of what you have to do with the valve cover, the timing job. And the evidence of it leaking is back here on the exhaust. It's all got oil all over it. So literally, we had to do every prep job we have to do for the timing, except for timing itself. And even a good timing system is still only good for about 300,000 miles. You're at almost 200,000 on one known to blow up. So yeah, if we're going to expose every single part of it, and it's one of those things, that's even what I was telling you, whereas like there are things that would be serious on your car, this is one that just simply because of the age is serious. It could end your car, but if you have a brand new timing system on it, There's absolutely no reason, especially with how you do your oil changes, that your engine couldn't survive another 200,000. So it was really that, again, the timing thing was not broke, but with how it works in this car, how many miles you have, and what you needed fixed, since we had already fully exposed it anyway, it'd be utterly stupid not to do it now. If at just about any rates, even fair rates that aren't mine, you would have to spend $700 again to get the timing replaced, and that's because you would have to pay for things you already done before, like the valve cover gasket and the timing cover gasket, to do timing later if it did start having problems. So it was not a thing of, nothing in the timing was broken, but it is so super critical to the engine, and it's so fragile in these engines that because of what we are repairing, it would have been an absolute waste of your money, time, everything not to do it. So that's why we did the timing, is the best way I can describe it. It's super duper important to the engine. Yours was still in perfect shape. Yours is the only 192,000 mile Cobalt, or 2.2, not just Cobalt, hell, this engine period, that I've ever seen. The timing wasn't broke. But so with that kind of record, again, if we're going to expose it, why not? We make your engine where it's got another 200,000 in it, and then you're back to your simpler maintenance on just your car, little suspension parts. You've already got rather new tires, stuff like that. You're back to your cheap stuff. This is one of those expensive things that just comes up every so often, and being at 200,000 miles, you were due for it. And again, I can't stress this enough, because of the fact that we were opening up that area, it really would be dumb from a maintenance standpoint not to do it. So that's the explanation there.